Hello and welcome to the PCM Tech Help Show. I am your host, Craig Chamberlain, and I am with PCMTechHelp.com. I'm one guy, okay? We're not a major corporation. But if you swing by my website, I do have over 80 free downloads I've collected in my many years in IT. And I also have all my free videos, over 400 of them now, I think. And I also have, on the right-hand sidebar, you can connect me on all the major social networks. So let's go ahead and get to the question at hand. What was the question at hand? What website host do I recommend? Web hosts. What's a web host? A web host is basically a company that hosts your website. Now, there's a ton of them out there. Okay, so I'm gonna go specifically with what I use. All right, and I'm gonna tell you why. Now, I originally started with GoDaddy as my web host, not my domain. Now, your domain is your whatever.com. Okay, mine would be PCMTechHelp.com. I bought that domain. That was like $6 a year. Okay, but then you also have a web host, which you put your website on. You copy your website to their hosting, and then you direct the domain to go to that physical location. Does that make sense? So when you type in PCMTechHelp.com, it'll go to GoDaddy, and then GoDaddy will tell them to go to this web host and grab the website. So you got two different services. You got your domain and you got your web host. Okay? Web hosting is much more expensive. Now, that being said, my web host was targeted specifically for WordPress. Now, if you are in WordPress at all, there's a couple factors you want to take into consideration when deciding on a web host. First of all, you want to make sure it's cost effective for whatever business you're starting. Okay? There's a lot of free web hosts out there. They all suck. Okay? They all suck bad. They will not work with WordPress. Even if you're not with WordPress, just so you know, they're bad. Okay? They're not a bad place to get started if you've never built a website before, so you can kind of get familiar with the experience of a host and managing your profiles and managing your site online. Great learning tool, but if you're going to create any kind of professional real hosting, not recommended at all to use a free host. Okay? I tried out GoDaddy for a couple of years, for about a year. Okay? I had a really big issue with them because I would get random hangs and outages. Okay, and I know they guarantee the uptime and everything, but the biggest problem came when I started doing throttling and I started doing speed testing, and I found out that they had a tolerance of about 5 to 10 seconds for response time. And what that essentially means is as soon as you type at PCMTechHelp.com, it's perfectly okay for GoDaddy to say it might take 5 seconds for us to finally direct you to the host. Then the page loads. So your web page could take up to 15-20 seconds to load if it's a big site. Okay, so that was one of the biggest concerns I had. The other factor you need to take into consideration is support. Okay, obviously it's got to be cost effective, but you also want to make sure you take into consideration support. Okay, even the most veteran computer IT guy needs support from time to time. Okay, the support I've gotten from my web host has been invaluable. Okay, and this ranges from issues with my actual WordPress to communications and configurations of whatever types of background. I mean, if you know anything about web hosting, you know that sometimes there's write and read privileges that need to be set properly. Sometimes there's permissions issues, not only read write, but actual access usernames and passwords for database that need to be set up correctly. I mean, there's a lot of internal factors that become critical to getting your website to function properly. And so if you're expanding your site and adding new features, and so you come across an issue where something isn't working properly, then you want to have a support line that you can rely on. Third factor, backups. Okay, if your web host doesn't offer a decent backup solution where if you get hacked or somebody shuts down your site or you screw it up, because you can break your site, then you're in a situation where you have to manage all of your own backups. And that's a severe crisis, in my opinion, because you can be down for days if you don't have a solid backup solution that you're already paying for through whoever your web host is. That being said, the host that I use isn't the only one that has these three fulfilled. Okay, I personally use Bluehost. That's at Bluehost.com. Now, they are more specifically targeted for WordPress users, so make sure when you call them that you tell them, hey, I'm using WordPress. Their dashboard allows you to do one-click installations of WordPress. There's all kinds of very convenient things there. But most importantly, if you pick up the phone and call them, a human being that speaks English will answer the phone. Unbelievable. Okay? Not only that, but when you ask them a question, they know what you're talking about. These aren't people who are laymen, okay? They don't have a binder that has a full of questions that people typically ask. It's not your frequently asked questions. These are actual techs who understand how the technology works. So that's why I actually push people in that direction. Third of all, the price is incredibly good. I mean, you're talking like $70 a year. It's like $6 to $8 a month. $6 to $8 a month for web hosting that offers comprehensive support and also offers backups. I didn't even go into backups. They have an integrated backup system that's free, and you can pay for an additional backup. But this will create mirror images of your site in different locations so that if you break your website, you can roll back to a few hours before if needed, or you can even roll back to just a day before. So they have two possible solutions. You got a free backup solution and you got a standard solution. So those three altogether, in my opinion, make Bluehost one of the best web hosts I've worked with personally. Now, it's very easy to get deceived with web hosts. So I wish I had some more recommendations, but after I went to Bluehost, I really haven't tried anybody else. So that's all there's to this video. Somebody had asked me what my recommendation for a web host is, and that would be Bluehost. I've had a lot of really good luck with Bluehost, and I think that if you decide to go with them, you'll be very happy with them too. So if you're not, if you're curious, just call them, ask them questions. I mean, ask them if they'll help you. Hey, will you help me get my website online? Hey, will you help me get my website live? Hey, I built my website off. Will you help me edit it? You know, I mean, there's so many things they'll help you with. It's unbelievable. So that's all there is to this video. As always, thanks for stopping by. I hope it helped some of you out, those of you who are curious on what web host to use. And stay tuned. There's plenty more videos to come.